Last time, on SV Full Send, we get a sail drive lower unit back from the mechanic, and then tackle the long and oh so fun task of putting it back into the boat without breaking anything.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
With the sail drive back in, we were pretty sure the shellfish that was clogging the water intake was our culprit for why we were seeing white steam or smoke out of the exhaust. We toyed around with the idea that it might be a blown head gasket and called to some mechanics to ask if they could do a compression test on the engine before we ordered new parts. One local mechanic told us we would be having a lot more issues if it was a blown head gasket, so we opted not to push any further in case we broke something and put the rest of the engine back together to do our first test.
Testing the thermostat. Kind of see it's open, that little gap there where the yellow or green is. That's at 100 degrees. And we're supposed to test it at 75 degrees Celsius as well. So it'll cool down. Supposed to do that first, but we don't have a thermometer. It's been quite an eventful little bit of time. So finally got sail drive, all that on, put the engine back together, pieced it all together. I had a bunch of new clamps because they were gone. The antifreeze was another thing. We think we bought pre-mixed because it's supposed to be 50-50 distilled water antifreeze. So we still need to actually change that out. Then, engine. It's not sucking up water. We've got a contraption down here we'll show you.
And then we figured out that gravity's working against us. The engine's below the water line. You got an 11-ton boat sitting in the water. So if we were to open up the seacock or the water intake, on the sail drive, water would push up if we were in the water. And if we were to do it right now, it wouldn't push up.
Right now we have it rigged up with a bucket, a tub, just sticking in for the intake holes. So that makes sense why it's not sucking up constantly. And then all of a sudden the fuel ran out, but that's because I had changed out the fuel water separator, so I spent the morning sucking up diesel into my mouth, trying to get it all through the line because the little pump doesn't go that quick, and you really got to give it some push. And then tested it and just put the hose straight into the intake, going straight into the impeller because it's clean, fresh water coming in. Don't got to worry about debris, and she's revving up real nice.
Yeah, no issues. It was straight water, good flow, no smoke. Revved it up to 2800 and 2900, and there's no smoke. It was working beautifully. So
we're bad at filming stuff when we're getting stressed out with all this. So we'll do a test for you now so you guys can see.
All right, ready?
Let me know if that oil light stays on too.
Okay. Ready?
Hit it.
Alright, let's rev it up. Got nice. What? That was 22. I thought you said kill it or something. Do you want me to go up to 28?
Yeah, go all the way up so we can show them how there's nothing.
Yeah. The water is flowing. Running pretty smoothly. Here's Jason down there. With the hose.
Woo! Got the hose in.
Yeah, looking good. All right. One less thing.
Alright, so we had it rigged up with the hose in here. I'm going straight into this pipe that's going over into the impeller over here. Get the light better. Because the impeller's right there. We gotta really clean all that out. Been working in here a lot, but it's time to clean up. Coolant levels are still the same, which is great. And then we're watching these hoses and this anti-siphon valve. and water was flowing real good. So hopefully that's it. Currently changing the oil with this drill pump. I think the hand one might be a little bit better, but yeah, getting it out. Well, so now we have we have automatic transmission fluid in there. Gotta drain it all out. After we just bought it, put it in. So the story goes, when we drained it, I remember it being brown. You know, I didn't think much of it, whatever, we're draining out old stuff. So we go with the manual says, automatic transmission fluid, a certain type. We go to AutoZone, they've got the stuff that we need. Great. So I open it up and I see it's red. And I'm like, well, this ain't right. So the other stuff was brown. I don't know, maybe it was European stuff, but whatever. And so we put it in, and you know, it kind of kept bugging me. And one night I'm sitting there, laying in bed, start getting on Google. What does brown mean? You got automatic transmission fluid that's brown. Usually means it's bad, but we knew our stuff was pretty good still. But it was supposed to be brown as well. Anyway, dive deeper, find some forums. Sure enough, Volvo had put out or Volvo Penta had put out a notification that they were switching back to motor oil sometime in the late 2000s because it worked better, and there were some issues with the ATF transmission fluid because you couldn't go into reverse, and there was issues getting back into neutral. Forward was fine, but so they suggested just putting motor oil in. So now we got to drain it and put it back in, and put the motor oil back in. So there's $20 down the drain, but whatever.
Just took a stop at Ford Marine.
Our favorite place to get parts.
Yeah, favorite place, only place to get parts. So we were trying to drain the coolant. We made our new mix 50% coolant, 50% distilled water.
Because last time we didn't do it for the test that we ran, so we needed to make sure for the final going out there, right?
You need to make sure that it's up to specs. So we did that. So in order to get it in there, we had to drain out all the other coolant. So we drained it out, got this guy out, but when we tried to put it back in, the drain plug wasn't sitting back in, it was just draining again. So we think that we looked at it, looked like it was kind of stripped, so they have one in stock. So we came up today and they gave us the entire unit, which is great because this is what goes up there, so we don't have to worry about the stripping. So hopefully put that in there and we won't have any problems with any more leakage. And then we thought about it, what if that was the source of all of our coolant leak on the way up as well? Just a drop here and there, you know, eventually leads to a lot. So who knows? But we got the part, so
it's good. And here's the beautiful St. John's.
Yeah,
that we should be crossing.
Hopefully a couple of weeks. Drop on had a leverage going through these holes, a little bit of a gap. Now we're putting on some Loctite onto the screw or the bolt. All right. Looks pretty good. It's moving smoothly. Come on. Mount him again. Alright, it's January 7th, doing the second engine test. The all fluids are changed. We got the coolant drain plug in, and that's all situated, not leaking, so got that to the maximum line. Jason is bringing up the hose right now so we can plug it in directly to the engine, and hopefully we have the same results as last time. We changed the transmission oil from the ATF automatic transmission oil, transmission fluid to just regular 1540.
Same stuff. Yeah,
15W. Yeah, 15
stuff we were in the engine.
Yeah. So, all right. Do you want to just check before you do that I got that thing tight on the heat exchanger? Just be safe.
There's air in the line.
That's why I had to take off the secondary fuel filter and then try to fill it up with gas or diesel. Priming it with the little pump. The pump goes super slow, and I thought I got it all the way there, but I did leave a little tube. I thought it would be all right with like a little bit of a gap, but apparently not. So I'm going to go through and just bleed the line out there.
So are we still doing the suck method, or what?
Yeah, suck method's been the best to get the majority. Otherwise, I could sit there for probably 24 hours just doing this, and
On the manual
like
pump,
little
yeah.
milliliter would come up each time. So.
All right.
Gas is coming out of there, not out of here. So this is right
You want
before-
to point out the flow and what we're gonna do real quick?
Yeah, so it's coming from the fuel tank that's under here. Here's the emergency fuel shutoff valve. It comes up through the fuel water separator into here, and then the fuel is lighter. Yeah, so water will go down to the bottom. There's a thing that you can loosen up here on the bottom that'll let the water drain out into the fuel, so that way you don't get any water in the system. From there, it'll come up to the pump up here, and I think it automatically pumps it when the engine's actually running. But otherwise, there's a manual switch here, and you move this. When there's water in the or air in the line, I'm sorry, I had to suck on this to get diesel up, and then watch if you can see. You'll start seeing fuel coming out. There we go. Seeing the fuel come out.
So he just tightened that up, and now he's opening.
This is right before that gets into the injectors.
So this guy's a little stripped, so we're trying to jerry rig it with duct tape. Well, we got the fuel going, but we stripped the bolt, so let's rev it up. Yeah, a little bit. What's that?
Good news and bad news.
What's that?
The good news is it's working. We got the fuel back in. Bad news, one of the fuel lines is a little bit punctured.
What? Like the fuel is coming out?
Like right here. And with the ratchet and shit, see it dripping here? So it's got a slow drip on that return valve.
This guy?
Feel it back there.
So when you last saw us, we were trying to get on the old diesel nut on there by the high pressure pump, but couldn't get that strip nut off, and then ended up puncturing the return valve to the fuel line. So a call to the Volvo Penta dealer here in Jacksonville, and $230 later, 2 days later, we ended up getting the piece. So now we got to install it. Reading that it should be pretty easy, so let's dive in. We got to clean up a little bit around the area first so we don't get any particles inside of the fuel system, but we'll get it and then spray paint it so it matches everything. So just getting in there with some 409. Clean around the edges. You got to pull all the injectors off, and then lift that up, and then change out some seals, some washer seals. Alright, so looking at the workshop manual, it's pretty straightforward. They said to hold on to this bottom nut below the return valve so you don't bend the actual fuel injectors, and then it's an 18 millimeter that goes on top here, and they come off there basically with finger. Well, this one was finger tight, so just going to loosen them all up a little bit and then pull off. Those are off, and then I think I need to get those other screws now. I was able to get a 19 mil socket on this guy. but these ones won't move so easily. And kind of snapped it a little bit, but not in half or anything. But I need to get these off. Alright, got all those guys off. So this should lift up. It does. I gotta detach it from here. So let me go grab a screwdriver. That should be it. Get a flathead. That should do. I got it off. Yep. So that slipped off with relative ease. This is on there pretty good. There's a lot of wire inside of here, and I think it's rubber. I'm gonna try to pry it off. Alright, here's the new guy. Old guy right there. Be careful with it this time. Can you grab those copper rings? I think we gotta put those on too. I think we're gonna need to replace these. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe everything down too. Dirty those are, comparatively. I thought that was a fridge or something, but it's just dirty fuel. Put them on. Also, something I noticed today. So this thing, I always remember being told this is just a straight old D2-55.
Yeah.
No
F?
No F or anything like that. And then I look on here after I cleaned it off, and it said D2-55A, but I don't know if that A goes with the 868 or what.
Huh. What? Have we seen a 250A?
I don't know.
We'll have to double check.
Yeah, I think it might be on there. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was, because it was just too far down on one. Kind of have to like.
Both are the same. Coming off, there's some residue. I want to get them nice and good. Hand tighten.
Do you want to get this one fully down first?
That's it not.
Yeah, so I think you're going to have to lift up on those just a little bit. There you go. Now you got it.
I'm going to the cesspool of oil and antifreeze that we have to clean out still. Yes, we have a dirty bilge, a very, very dirty bilge, but we've been waiting to finish all of our engine work before we actually get a full clean.
It's way down in there. Can't get it. It's pretty dirty.
And our bilge doesn't attach to the rest of the engine bilge doesn't attach to the rest of the boat bilge, which I thought was kind of weird. Is that normal? I don't know if anybody can write in the comments whether or not that's normal or not. It seemed odd to me. I thought it all was supposed to just flow to the low point in the boat, the bilge.
But there's no breaker down here that runs into the bilge that goes towards the bow. Alright, so that's
It's the new guy.
We'll show you later on the old guy comparison.
Stripped out. No. This thing?
Yeah.
No, that goes on top, and then the nut goes in. This goes all the way down, but it's
okay.
fighting it for some reason.
Is that an old seal that I gotta dig out?
Can't tell.
Coolant, right.
This is gonna be difficult.
Alright, so it's gone down, but we gotta leave it open a little bit so we can prime it.
Yep, there you go. Just came out.
Alright.
Alright, all set to do the test. Make sure there's no leaks. Alright, we got everything put on, so let's hope that this test goes and put it in forward and reverse, and Jason's going to be down there below making sure we don't have any other fuel leaks. So fingers crossed. All right, 1, 2, 3. Is it looking good? All right, look pretty good. No white smoke. What? What'd you say? What did you say? Good. No fuel issues? Good. Heck yeah. All right.
Good. No, there's no leakage or spillage.
I'm gonna put it back into neutral and then go into forward, see the prop going, and then put it in reverse. Oh yeah. All right, things are looking good. Water's looking great, good flow. Looks like we got a successful test. And Epstein didn't kill himself.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and help support us on Patreon.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.